Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wealthy LaLa Show with myself, Laurie Laursen. Oh, would you believe today is episode 300? Holy! So, yeah, I'm just writing that down on my calendar here. So, yeah, today is Friday, March 13th. We got a lot going on in the world at this time. So you know what? I didn't think I was going to do this, but we're going to do a card reading today. I guess the card reading wants to be based around just what's going on in the world. I didn't really want to talk about it. I just wanted to give us some space with it, but I get that what the cards want to contribute is just something that's a different perspective. So I get to pull just 2 cards. So I'm going to pull 2 cards. And we're going to see what these puppies say. Okay, so the cards that wanted to be pulled were the Starseed Oracle. They're the ones by Rebecca Campbell. And her new deck that just came out in January. So I wonder what these cards have to share with us. So again, just 2 cards. Okay, so I'm actually going to turn them both over at the same time. So the first card is Messenger, Sirius, as in Sirius energy, bringing harmony and balance. And then the second card is I Remember, Soul Plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. I feel in my head already where I feel like these cards are going. And this is one of those books where they are not in alphabetical order. So let me just see what pages these ones are. Okay, 76 and 92. Okay. So we're going to start with the first one. So 92. Okay, so the card Messenger, which is Sirius, almost like Sirius Radio. Actually, it is the same as Sirius Radio. Sirius energy, bringing harmony and balance. Oh, you are part of the lineage of souls who have dedicated their lifetimes to upliftment of the planet, to return time and time again to see the light. The crystalline ones, the ones who are here to plant the sacredness of life back in, to honor both the sacred and feminine and masculine, the sacred feminine and masculine, to usher deep reverence back in. Many ascended masters are thought to be connected to the energy of Sirius. Often appearing as a shade of blue, they hold the frequency of pure love and are here to help the masculine and feminine exist in harmony, to ensure greater balance, to help us see that we're all connected and that the masculine and feminine energies exist within us all. You're being called to bring about this balance and harmony between the masculine and feminine, to be a guardian of harmony and balance on earth. Think of the whales traveling around the globe, sharing love through their healing vibrational songs. Their unique notes send balance and harmony to every corner of the planet. A rebalance of the masculine and feminine is occurring worldwide. It's a resurgence of the sacred within us all, a returning of the sacred union within, a rekindling of heaven and earth. You can begin to bring harmony and balance by creating it in your own life. The ripples will flow from there. You can honor and balance the sacred masculine and feminine energies within yourself. So the Starseed Soul Inquiry with this card is, how are you being called to bring harmony to your life or the planet? How are you being called to honor the sacred masculine and feminine within you? And I find it really interesting because I was on the phone with someone earlier today. Well, actually, I was chatting with my mom, and my dad is having surgery today, and it's their 55th wedding anniversary. And phone to wish them a happy anniversary, see what time dad's surgery was and stuff. And so we were just, having a discussion about this COVID virus and stuff, and just what we're aware of the changes in the world, like how it's impacting people and businesses and stuff like that. And she said an offhanded comment going, yeah, so I guess, what it's kind of creating is people just basically getting together with their friends and family. And I thought, how much in a way has that been lost? Like this sense of community. I've also been listening to Dr. Gabor, Gabor Mate, Mate. He's a doctor from Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. And he's been writing books on addictions, childhood trauma. And I heard about him years ago, and I started listening to some of his stuff again this week. Found him on a podcast. Oh, that's how it showed up, because I was looking at Instagram, and I follow Russell Brand. He, I don't know if he still is an actor, but he's written some books on addiction. And so he has a podcast, and on this podcast he had Gabor Mate, Dr. Gabor Mate, as a guest. So yesterday I listened to the show. It's been an hour and a half long. So good. Like, trauma basically it's he said that it's not the trauma that's the problem. He says it's what we do with it, how we internalize it, how it impacts us and then goes into our future. And that on some level we're likely all traumatized, and which creates addictive tendencies. And so he's talking about the addiction to shopping and the addiction to social media, or to and then it could be the ones that we hear the most about: drugs, alcohol, gambling, that kind of thing, sex addictions or whatever. And he actually said something really funny in that interview. He goes, if a sex addiction was just a sex addiction, then if two people who had sex addictions got together, well, their problem would be solved. But it's not that. It's what ends up happening is whatever we use as our drug of choice. And for some people, it's trauma drama. For some people, it is gossiping. For some people, it is like just shopping and smoking and all the other ones I mentioned. But it's something that makes us just feel better enough that we want to do the hit again. It's so interesting, but it doesn't actually take away the problem. And he's discovered that he has not yet met a person who has addictive tendencies, who did not have some form of trauma in their childhood. And so again, it's whatever trauma is to us. For some people it definitely is, like the things like sexual abuse and physical abuse and emotional abuse. And for other things it's being ignored, and for other people it's being bullied in school, or like there's so many things that can create that, just not being seen. Maybe your parents had 10 kids and they were trying to survive, so they couldn't give you what you needed. That could be seen as a trauma, which you then internalize that, you weren't valuable, you weren't worthy, you weren't important enough. And then it's what that does with your future. So what I'm discovering is that we've lived in a time that's actually, in a way, very masculine, very work hard, very it's very about what we get done, what we buy, what we look like, and stuff. And that this is bringing the harmony and balance back is by bringing in the nurturing, the connection and stuff like that. How much is this making us all stop, right? And take stock of our lives? And that could be financially, emotionally, physically, whatever. Okay, so the second card, I remember. There was a moment before you were born when you chose the conditions of your life you're living right now, when you plotted out these exact moments along the timeline of your life. We live in a world of free will, and therefore these moments become our destiny only through saying yes. The fated life is the one we were born into. The destiny life is the one our soul chooses. And it takes courage and faith. If you pull this card, it's because you're likely now face to face with the choice to follow the destiny life over the fated life, to trust the path your soul is calling you towards, and to remember that this moment was prearranged on your life's timeline. You may find yourself at crossroads. I would say that this coronavirus is quite a crossroad. At a moment where you're being called to make a decision, to keep walking the perfectly laid out plan, or path before you, or choose the one less traveled. You may be facing a career change, a new relationship, a difficult decision, or something else that requires courage and faith. You're being invited to remember your soul's greater plan and to surrender to it. When you're confronted with a path that's undefined, it's normal for doubt to rear its head. In fact, this is a certain sign that you're facing your soul's greater plan. Every hero in his or her life journey comes to eye with doubt. The only way around it is through it. It's all a part of the larger plan. So what are you being called to do to surrender to your soul's plan? Wow, that's so interesting. So I just wonder, and for each of us, it's going to be different. Like, what are we looking at? Are we looking at personal relationships? Are you looking at your job? Are you looking at, um, your body, your physical body, just anything? Like it's almost like that Einstein quote where it's like, we keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. And doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. And is this a wake up call for us to actually really look, be honest with ourselves, become self aware? And it's going to look like a bit of a, excuse my expression, shit show in some of our lives. And I know for me, like that's one thing, that having had an illness in my body, creating a dis-ease, was, what would look like quite a shit show. And for me, what I discovered is that it brought me face to face with myself, with where I was really functioning from, with what I was, actually asking for and not asking for. Um, yeah, it brought me face to face with myself. And sometimes for each of us, that shows up through money, through loss of a job, through loss of a relationship, through, just so many things. And for each of us, we hit that almost like bottom in our own way. And so for me, it's not been financially, but it was physically. It was also me through relationships. But that was also showing up physically. The emotional aspect of the relationships and how, it impacted me, how I had unknowingly had it impact me, and just what that created. And I kept trying to change things based on how I thought things should change. And yet, when it was finally when I really, really, really surrendered and said to myself, like, I've kept doing the same thing and things haven't changed for me. Am I going to keep doing the same thing, or am I going to actually try something different? And it was after that, and this was about 2 years ago, that I started to surrender into it. Might have been just a little over 2 years ago. And started to surrender into it. And it has created something so incredibly different in my world. More peace, more possibility, more fun, more ease with my body, more ease in relationship, more just kindness with myself and my life. And the knowing that I actually matter and that I'm a contribution to the planet, whatever that actually looks like. So, yeah. So, anyways, isn't that kind of cool? Like, did you guys find that these cards resonated with you? Like, really, I think it's so interesting, especially the first card. It's like what I'm getting is like, are we going to bring more balance into our lives, bring more harmony and balance into our lives? And then the second one, are you going to continue on the same path of those things you've decided, or where you believe you have to go because of your own thoughts, other people's opinions, what reality says at this point in time is the best way to go? Or are you going to find the destiny life, that one within your own heart, the one that makes you sing, and allow yourself to create something, like different with that? So anyways, I just, that's just really cool. It's just, I find it so incredibly fascinating that we could, that we could have an impact, like just have an impact on our lives and stuff like that. So in a different way, that we could have our destiny life, that we could have the life that we desire. And I really get that there's so much of that is being called for that now. I just, I get that so much more is being called for. So, like really, I wonder, how does it get any better? What is possible for all of us? And I find that I don't have any fear with what's going on with the world right now. Um, I don't. I just really trust that there is something greater going on. And yeah, I just really do. I trust that there's something greater going on, and that if we don't allow ourselves to buy into the panic, what else is possible, like the fear and panic. The other thing is too, is that the fear and the panic that's coming up in people's worlds, the unsettling and all that, the discomfort, that's actually stuff that was there. It's just it got squeezed. It's like if you take an orange and you squeeze an orange juice comes out. When we get squeezed, whatever's within us comes out. So knowing that if you've been living with that fear, that panic, or whatever it is for you, that's something that can be cleaned up, that can be taken care of, that can be loved and have compassion for. And yeah, just what else is possible with all of it. So anyways, you guys, adoring ya. Thank you for listening, and we will talk to you again soon. Happy 300th show.